Hi everyone, today we are looking at an O-level type algebra question. So let's jump right in. It gives us an expression, an algebraic expression, and it says, can you write this expression as a single fraction? And of course, you have to simplify it fully. And so the first thing I think of when I see such questions is there anything that I can factorize immediately within the expression itself? So I look, is there anything I can factorize here? Nope. Anything I can factorize over here within itself? Nope. How about numerator? Nope. I mean, it's just one term, so I can't factorize anything. So I'm just gonna say nope. I can't factorize anything. And then the next step. So if I can factorize, of course I would factorize it. And then the next step is I need to make the denominators the same. So I've done step one. I cannot factorize, so I just move on. I'm going to make the denominators the same. If I cannot factorize, the only way I can make denominators the same is to basically, let me just illustrate. Look for the missing factor on each side. So of course now since they're totally not in common, so they're missing each other. So for the 3x minus 1 term, I will multiply it by 5x minus 2. But I cannot actually change the fraction, so whatever I do on the denominator, I must also do in the numerator. So you can see, did I change this fraction? No, because technically, I can kind of like cancel them out, and it gives me back my original fraction. So I'm not actually changing it. I'm just trying to change what it looks like, right? I can still simplify it by canceling these two things out. And then of course for the second term, what I do is I multiply it by 3x minus 1. Remember, the goal is to make the denominators the same. And so let's look at it now. Are the denominators the same? Is this the same as this? Yes, they are. They are. So since they are the same, now what I can do is I can combine the fractions. And so I can say this is 1 times 5x minus 2 is simply 5x minus 2. And then now, the thing is, when there's a negative sign outside the fraction, it means there is an invisible bracket here. So I have to leave the invisible bracket there. And you'll see why in a bit, why this invisible bracket is so important. So it's 3 times 3x minus 1. So I'm just going to leave it like that. And the denominators is this. Okay, now there are a few ways you can look at it. Maybe let's try to simplify this first. So we have 5x minus 2 minus, remember invisible brackets, 9x minus 3. Now you can see why it's so important, because the brackets require me that when I bring them in, I have to change the sign. So 5x minus 2, this is negative 9x. Negative, I bring it into the negative 3, I get a positive 3 over this. And now I simplify. So I have negative 2 plus 3, that gives me 1. And 5x minus 9x, that gives me negative 4x, yeah. Final step, can I factorize anything? Nope. This is already completely factorized and there are no common factors here. So there we go. That's it. This is my final answer. And now we can write it here. And so let me just touch a little bit on the negative sign outside the fraction. So let me just write over here. Basically, if I have something like this, negative and then let's say 3x minus 1 over 2, this negative sign lives outside the fraction. That means there are invisible brackets here. So what I can do is I can actually bring them into the fraction, but the negative sign remains outside the bracket. And then this gives me negative 3x plus 1 over 2. Or I can also write it as 1 minus 3x over 2. Yeah, so it's very different. When this negative sign lives outside the fraction, it is as if this fraction hasn't seen the negative sign yet, and therefore you put in these brackets to kind of remind yourself that this negative sign still needs to be brought in. Yeah. So you can take a look at how this was applied again in this example.